Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Lily, and with me here we have one of our long-standing sponsors, Teri Hackathon from the US. Um, Teri, welcome on board for this interview. Yes.
Thank
So
you.
briefly, you can tell us something about yourself.
Um, my name is Teri Hackathorn. I live in Austin, Texas, and I've been sponsoring students with Moja 2 now for, I believe, 6 or 7 years. I
Mhm.
didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah. And considering you're turning 9, we need to give you that badge for one of the most long-standing sponsors that we have on Moja. So, Terry, what inspired you to start sponsoring students, and why specifically education?
I worked with a gentleman that founded Moja 2, Michael Bailey,
Mhm.
and I heard of his experiences with the students and some of the travel, and just it piqued my interest. It was really, really
Mhm.
exciting to hear about how well the students were doing and responding. And so I started looking into it more.
Mhm.
And there was one student on the website when I went to look, and that was Esther. And we'll talk more about Esther, I believe, as
Yeah.
we go through the interview.
Yes. And for those who are watching, our website is www.mojatu.org. How many students are you sponsoring, and how did you end up with them?
I'm sponsoring 2 students right now. I was
Mhm.
sponsoring 3. We had Esther graduated a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I have 2 other girls, Paris and Sarah. Sarah is ready to sit for her exams for high school in
Mhm.
April, and
Yeah.
Paris will sit for her exams at the end of the year. And Sarah, she needed a co-sponsor.
Mhm.
There, 2 people were sponsoring her, and that's an option at Moja 2.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can work with someone else to sponsor. So I started sponsoring her, and then that other person was no longer able to sponsor, so I'm
Mhm.
managing with Sarah. And then Paris, we were at one of the galas, and I saw those big brown eyes, and I was in. So
Yeah. So I think you've mentioned something important that I think I'd want to reiterate for sponsors. You'll find that someone thinks that if they pick a student, they have to go with them all the way, but life happens and it
Mhm.
reaches a point where you're not able to continue sponsoring the student. So you can either pick the co-sponsor where you sponsor that student with someone else and still enjoy the benefits of being a full sponsor. Or you
Exactly.
can, and if things really hit the wall, you can drop the sponsorship and you're always welcome back to continue when things go back. What motivates you to continue sponsoring students?
What motivates me to continue sponsoring students?
Yes.
It is so amazing to watch the growth and how their thirst for knowledge and the ability for them to just be able to move on. And
Mhm.
it's stable, it's a stability point in their lives. So many of these students don't have a stable background, or they were having challenges with their parents making do and getting the school fees paid
Mhm.
for. This way, the kids don't have to worry about whether or not they're going to go to school one day and be turned away because of the fees. They're able to go to school full time. They're there. These are boarding school situations, and it is just amazing to watch how they flourish.
Mhm.
One of my girls, Paris, was very, very shy. English is not her first language, and she was struggling with her English when we
Mhm.
spoke. And now it's night and day. It's so
Yeah.
amazing to watch
Mhm.
her. And I mentioned her big brown eyes, and they sparkle, and she smiles, and
Mhm.
she's really coming out of her shell. She was so inside and so
Mhm.
interested. She's really coming outside of her shell. And so it's great to see them grow.
Mhm. So I know this question is going to come up later on, but how do you keep your relationships alive with the students that you sponsor?
It's one of the great things about Moja 2 is that you are able to write to them regularly. So, and they write back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have that correspondence. And one of the greatest things is being able to have the videos.
Yeah.
So we have, usually when non-COVID times, we
Mm-hmm.
have 4 videos a year, and you have time to just to talk to your student about
Yeah.
how they're doing in school and just connecting with them on a
Mm-hmm.
personal level, and just, is there anything they need, what kind of support can you give them,
Mm-hmm.
and just learning about their personal lives and how they're doing. It's just having that personal connection
Mm-hmm.
is fabulous. And
Yeah.
the other piece that I've really found wonderful with Moja too, and I want people to understand, is it's with COVID, it's not just, we're focused on education, but education is not just paying the bill to go to school. Education is talks, if it's emotional support, if it's
Yeah.
medical support. And that's how the community of Moja 2 comes together and supports the students in all those ways, because
Mm-hmm.
you've got a hungry belly or you've got a toothache, you're not going to do very well in school. You're not going to be
Yeah.
able to focus. So Moja
Mm-hmm.
2 also helps with those areas as well.
Yeah. And we thank you so much for your support. When COVID first hit and people were wondering what they're going to do, you saw most of our students' parents are casual workers. So everything came to a standstill, and majority of them did not have the basics. So through your support, we were able to provide them with food, protective gears, including masks, hand washing. And in some places, we even set up water bowsers where people can come and fetch water so they can wash their hands and use it in their homes. So we really thank you for that support. So Teri, one of your students, Esther, graduated in 2019 and is now
Mhm.
working with Moza 2 as a finance controller. How does that make you feel?
Oh, I'm so proud of her. She is just an amazing person.
Mm-hmm.
She is, she's, she grew up in a children's home herself,
Yeah.
and she's just a go-getter. I mean, she is just an amazing girl. She's
Mm-hmm.
so bright, so eager to to she wants to make something of herself, but
Mm-hmm.
she gives back as well. I mean,
Yeah.
the kids love her.
Yes.
She goes every holiday, every Christmas. In fact, she
Mm-hmm.
just recently sent me pictures. She went to go see the kids. She plays with the
Mm-hmm.
kids. They see how well she's done. She's a great role
Yeah.
model
Yeah.
for them. We worked with putting her resume together,
Mm-hmm.
and her going out and getting an interview and getting jobs. So
Mm-hmm.
we've done all that together, but I she's just wonderful. And I mean, everybody
Yeah.
that she meets, everyone that meets her lives she touched,
Mm-hmm.
they all feel the same way. She's just so special.
Yeah, I work with her and I tell her almost every day. One of the things I admire about her is her integrity and being accountable. Being a finance person. Yes, I think
Mhm.
that's a very great quality to have. Yeah.
Yes.
So how did you keep your relationship with Esther alive during the years you sponsored her, and until now you still continue enjoying a cordial relationship?
Yes. Really, we both kept in touch,
Mm-hmm.
writing to each other quite a bit, and the video calls were wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And now we continue to correspond via email, and then we'll have Skype calls every now and then as well, just to touch
Mm-hmm.
base
Yeah.
and talk, and just how things are going in your life. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a different relationship. It's
Mm.
but there's she'll always be a part of our lives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
always be a part of our lives.
Yeah.
So,
So why would you advise anyone to give back through Mojato?
I think some of the things that we've already talked about, the
Yeah.
being able to give back and to watch these children that
Mm-hmm.
they 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 just need a little bit of help
Mm-hmm.
to help them through education, and the support, just somebody cheering for them in the background and saying,
Yeah.
you can do this. We're going to give you a little bit of stability. You've got to do the hard work. We're here to guide you, but
Yeah.
it's up to you if you
Mm-hmm.
want it. And education is going to open so many doors.
Mm-hmm.
It's challenging, and I don't know that a lot of people know this, But in Kenya, they, after the 8th grade, the parents have to pay for the school fees. We don't
Yeah.
have in the US. So many people, you have school paid for through your
Mm-hmm.
senior
Mm-hmm.
grade, which would be Form 4 in Kenya. And
Yeah.
we don't have that in Kenya. So they need this extra help. And so many of them, you mentioned earlier about
Yeah.
casual day laborers. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have the education, that's what a lot of people are doing. And what a casual day labor means is just
Mm-hmm.
that they
Yeah.
try to get work on a day-to-day basis to
Mm-hmm.
do something.
Yeah.
So that's difficult to be able to raise a family and
Yeah.
feed a family, let
Yeah.
alone schools.
Actually, there's very high dropout, the transitioning between class 8 and high school. That is grade 8 and high school. And it's because
Mhm.
of that fact that education is very expensive. And I think, as we all know, education is not just about school fees. And as you mentioned earlier, there are books. And now with COVID and online writing, online studies, our students need laptops to attend those classes
Right.
and whatnot. Yeah. So many parents are not able to afford that. Yeah. And it's really good to see, even if it's not a lot of students, but the few that we have on board, that everything that they need to succeed in their studies have been taken care of. Yeah.
Right.
So Terry, you've been to Kenya a few times.
I've
What's your
been just
best?
one time. Just been
Ah,
one time. It's
uh-huh.
fabulous. Um,
So what was the most what's your best memory about coming to Kenya and meeting the kids?
oh my gosh, there are so many. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many. But
Mm-hmm.
I've got to say the best one is when, well, there's two of them. I'm going to have to give two because it involves all my kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was sponsoring three.
Mm-hmm.
Esther was still in school. It was her senior year, her
Mm-hmm.
Form 4 year,
Mm-hmm.
and we were met at the airport with all these students singing and dancing and
Mm-hmm.
carrying, they're taking my backpack and my jacket, and everybody is just, they're gonna take care of me. And
Mm-hmm.
that was my greeting with Sarah and Paris. They were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther was busy working at the children's home, so she
Yeah.
wasn't able to make it to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, we pull up in the van, and all of the people from Moja 2 were in two vans,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't get out of the van soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
So Esther came barreling into the van, jumps in my lap. She's just a little thing, and she
Yeah.
jumps in my lap, just
Mm-hmm.
hugged me, and just, oh my gosh, I was shocked, and it was so great to meet her in
Mm-hmm.
person. And
Mm-hmm.
it's it was just fabulous. It was
Yeah.
just absolutely fabulous. And that was the beginning of my trip. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was just great from there. It was fabulous.
Yeah. Terry, do you have any parting shots for us, for anyone
I
who's
just
listening?
Yeah, it's been such a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I watching the kids grow and mature, and they're kids, and they but I don't know. It's just so amazing to watch them grow, and to
Yeah.
watch them really and truly appreciate the
Yeah.
opportunity they have. And they
Mm-hmm.
try so hard, and they're so eager to please. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing watching them. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Terry. So thank you for watching this. Thank you, Terry, for joining us and for those insights about Moja 2.